A historic winter storm and severe weather outbreak is about to impact a certain portion of the United States. And in this video, we're going to be forecasting the entire event for you guys. Everything from tornadoes to damaging winds to snow to an ice storm potential. We're going to start off this video by taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook here for Sunday. We already have a day 4 slight risk of severe weather in effect, which is quite uncommon for the month of January. Right now, this is going out for portions of far northwest Alabama, far southwest Tennessee, southeast Arkansas, far east Texas, northern Louisiana, and most of Mississippi. This will likely be driven by a damaging wind risk, but we also can't rule out an isolated couple of tornadoes inside of our line of storms, especially across parts of Louisiana and Mississippi, I'd say. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at the GFS model for this winter storm system, we can see that by January 4th at around noon, we're going to have a little batch of rain and ice developing across parts of Kansas and Oklahoma. Not a big deal, right? Well, as you can see, even by the time we only play this out to about 6 p.m. on the 4th, this becomes a much bigger storm system, bringing heavy sleet and freezing rain to portions of Kansas and Missouri, and some heavy snow into parts of Nebraska there. And this just continues to develop further. By 6 a.m. on January 5th, this is Sunday, the big day here, we will be seeing some very heavy snow across portions of northern Missouri, northern Kansas, southeast Nebraska, and southwestern Iowa. But again, the noteworthy thing here actually is going to be that ice likely. This will lead to several power outages. This could lead to fallen branches as well. Again, this will also lead to very dangerous driving conditions. So honestly, if you're getting impacted by the ice storm, you may honestly be in a bit of a worse situation than even if you were to be impacted by our big snow threat here. This will continue to push eastward, obviously, by noon on Sunday here. I mean, this is just going to be absolute madness. We're going to be talking about some potential severe weather down into parts of the deep south, snow across the Midwest, and sleet and ice along most of the Ohio River there. And that will just continue to push eastward. You can see that severe weather threat really sparks kind of Sunday night into Monday morning early hours. And this winter storm will just continue to move eastward, all right? We're still dealing with this by noon on January 6th. This is Monday. Still a heavy batch of snow across portions of the Ohio River Valley. Some sleet still mixing in there as well across parts of Appalachia. And overall, this would lead to very significant snowfall totals, especially across portions of central and southern Illinois as well as Missouri. We're talking about a good 1.5 feet of snow across portions of east central Missouri and a good foot of snow everywhere from parts of northeast Kansas back into parts of southern Ohio. Now, areas in southern New England could end up seeing some significant snow totals from this as well, especially around the Delmarva Peninsula region. We could be talking about a good 8 or 9 inches of snow in those areas. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the European model's forecast for this winter storm here. Again, we can see this developing kind of afternoon time on Saturday. Again, the GFS kind of like this being a little bit of a earlier developer than the European does here, but we can see by 9 p.m. this is stretching a good band of ice here pretty much across the entire state of Kansas. Kansas City may get in on some of that sleet, and this just continues to become a monster here. I mean, by 6 a.m. on Sunday here, we could already be dealing with some thunderstorms down into portions of Dixie Alley, but also a big band of freezing rain there everywhere from parts of western Kentucky back into parts of Kansas, with heavy snow north of that region as well, obviously. And again, it just continues to push us eastward, bringing significant impacts in terms of snow and ice as it does. Now, the Canadians' view for this is actually very interesting here. If we go ahead and bring this up, we can see that we are expecting to have a similar development time to what the GFS was saying here, as in this will develop, say, kind of Saturday night into Sunday morning. Really, the big threat gets going around Sunday or Saturday afternoon rather, but it continues to push eastward, and by, say, Sunday morning here, we are dealing with a fully developed, fully fledged winter storm, again, across portions of the Midwest here. A big band of ice stretching from everywhere from Kansas back down into even Tennessee, the Canadian model likes to hint at, and it just continues to push eastward. Again, look at that 540 line dipping all the way down into Texas. Very cold air coming in behind this storm here, and that's going to be another thing that we're going to have to talk about in a later forecast. Big-time Arctic blast coming soon, but again, we're talking about thunderstorms and potentially severe thunderstorms and tornadoes down into parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. The Canadian model kind of likes this thing staying intact a little bit longer into parts of southern New England here, so we'll have to look out for that threat as well. Now, if this scenario were to play out, we would end up seeing significant snow totals, but still not nearly as much as the GFS was painting for this winter storm here. We can see that we could still be expecting around a foot of snow around Kansas City, but anywhere in the Ohio Valley, really just a few inches. Again, mostly an ice event is what the Canadian model likes to hint at, which again could end up being even worse because that makes dangerous to impossible travel conditions It does like the idea of a good amount of snow dumping again on parts of the eastern Ohio Valley as well as southwestern New England here, maybe a good 7 or 8, 9 inches for parts of southern New Jersey. The good state of Ohio here would end up seeing a good amount of snow, say 7 or 8 inches pretty much across the entire state. So now that we've been talking a lot about that winter storm threat, let's go ahead and focus in a little more on the severe weather threat with this system. We can see that by 10 a.m. on Sunday, we've already got thunderstorms going across portions of Texas and Arkansas, and as we get through the afternoon time hours, those only become more developed. By noon, we're going to be dealing with supercells potentially across parts of Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas, and this could be where our tornado threat peaks. Now, this will develop into a line of storms and mostly become a damaging wind threat, but we could still see a couple of embedded tornadoes and some very large hail as well within this line of storms. This line will be stretching everywhere from Memphis back down to the Texas-Louisiana state line by 3 p.m., and as we go into the early evening time hours, that just continues to shift eastward there. So the dew points for this event are really going to be pretty high, honestly, for the month of January here. If we take a look at things, we can see we're going to have a wave of higher dew points here pretty soon that is going to be stretching into the mid-60s across portions of Texas and Louisiana. We're going to be talking about 60s all the way towards like areas like Little Rock, Arkansas. Again, the greatest severe weather threat will really come in the areas where those dew points are the highest. So again, really southeast Texas, western Louisiana, kind of shifting into portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle there. If we go over to the southeastern United States, again, those 60s dew points just continue to make their way all the way over to the East Coast. Now, obviously, that's not the only thing that drives severe weather. You also need wind shear. You need a decent amount of cape, and we'll kind of break that down whether we have those ingredients or not in our next forecast. So make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you will get notified whenever we do post that and whenever we go live for this event as a whole, because it's going to be a big day. Now, finally, I wanted to take a look at a little graphic here that the National Weather Service in Lincoln put together. This is actually my personal National Weather Service office here in Lincoln. In my opinion, it shows the most aggressive forecast out of all the National Weather Service offices right now for this event. What to know: a high-impact winter storm will take aim at the area late Saturday night into Monday morning. A winter storm watch is in effect for a good chunk of the Midwest, and there's a 40 to 60% chance of 8 inches or more of snow across portions of central and southern Illinois, especially along a little stretch kind of from St. Louis back up to Decatur. We could end up seeing a good foot of snow or more potentially. Ice accumulations could also develop far south of this area, and we could be talking about significant power outages down into parts of southern Illinois and western Kentucky because of that, obviously. So make sure to look out for that. Again, the further north you go, the lower the chances get for dangerous snowfall amounts, but still, they are up there, even all the way up into like Bloomington. I know it says 36% chance, but remember, that is for 8 inches or more of snow, so you're still likely going to end up seeing a good amount up there. Now, finally, I want to take a look at the current watches, warnings, and advisories put in place for this storm. We can see, again, we've got those winter storm watches stretching all the way from portions of Kansas back into Indiana and Kentucky here. Again, all of them specifying different things, but most of them talking about a good amount of snow in portions of kind of the central Ohio Valley. But the further south you go, the more likely it is that you could end up seeing some ice accumulations from this event as well. So that's something else to look out for. Now, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, please do be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, make sure to click that sub button so you get notified whenever we go live for this massive event. And I'm going to be doing my own coverage out here in central Illinois of the snow and ice as it happens. I am like in the perfect position for this event, so I'm going to be getting some great footage, hopefully. So again, if you like stuff like that, make sure to click that subscribe button. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.